This is Jackie Bolt with the Photographer's Dream House, and this is the Portrait and Wedding Photography Pricing Workbook walkthrough. We will start out on the instructions page, which has the worksheets and their descriptions, and the cell colors and their descriptions. The blue and yellow cells are the only ones that you can edit, so please pay attention to those when you are filling out this workbook. Next, I'll direct your attention to the cells with the red triangle in the corner. If you hover over them with your mouse, you will see a yellow comment box appear that has a more thorough description or a helpful tip. We will move on to the expenses worksheet. This is where you will put in all of your business fixed and variable expenses, as well as your expenses per session and your expenses per wedding. This does not include cost of goods sold. That will be covered on the next worksheet. So we'll start out and put in a monthly expense for rent, and then liability insurance. That will be an annual expense. So we'll put in $250 here, and this is where you will select and categorize the expense, whether it's wedding specific, portrait specific, or for both. So let's say rent is for portraits, liability and equipment insurance is for both. Let's put one in that would be just strictly for weddings. And we'll say that's $1,500 for workshops, and then that does calculate out your monthly amount of $125. As you can see, that does total out your monthly wedding expenses, $125. Your total monthly portrait expenses for $200. Your total monthly expenses for both weddings and portraits is $20, and your total monthly expenses are $345. Over here, you can put in expenses per session. Let's say you have an assistant for $25 a session, and for weddings, you maybe rent a lens for $50, and that will total here. That is your expenses worksheet. We will move on to the portrait product pricing worksheet. You'll start out by putting in your processing time per hour. This is the amount of money that you will charge yourself for editing, packaging the product, getting it ready to send to the customer. So I will put in $50. Your credit card processing fee, $3 if you take credit cards. Your markup multiplier is however much you want to mark up your product. We'll put 3 in. I have already put in typical print products for photography, but you obviously have enough spaces to add in your own. We'll put an 8x8 album here. Let's put in some base costs for the 8 wallets and the 4x6s. Say $250, packaging cost $2, cost to ship the product to you is $4. This processing time for product ties back to your processing time per hour. We'll say 10 minutes. See the processing time cost here, the total product cost of goods sold, and the suggested retail price for the product. I'm going to put in $45. This is where you can put in your actual retail price for the product based on the suggested retail price. And you can see your net profit per product and your cost of goods sold percentage. This is showing that $1,683 is 37% of your $45 actual retail price. And then we'll go over to the 4x6 and put in those costs. Package shipped to you. We'll change that maybe to 2. Put 5 minutes in here. You can see the processing time cost difference, the total product cost of goods sold. And we'll put in $25. We'll even put in an 8x8 album cost here. Let's say that's $75. Packaging costs $10. Cost to ship the product to $15. The processing time on that maybe 2 hours. Okay, so the actual retail price I'm going to put in as $500. Okay, and this actual worksheet is going to take the longest, since it will take time to go through all your products, put in the costs, your processing time, etc. However, once it's in there, and you can change what you need to change and update things pretty easy and quickly. If I did want to increase my markup multiplier, you can see how that changes your pricing. You can do 2, you can do 2.5. Maybe I want to change my processing time per hour to $60 and see how that impacts your suggested retail price. So that wraps up the portrait product pricing worksheet. We will move on to the portrait package builder. This will pull in all of your products that you put in and their prices from the previous worksheet and put them in over here, and then you can build your packages based on those products. So we'll start out with package number 1. We'll do 2 sets of 8x8 wallets and 6 4x6s. Your a la carte value of the package is $240. Maybe you do a retail package price of $200. Give your net profit per package, your percentage off retail value, and we'll put in the cost to ship to the client. So you can see that you're definitely making a profit based on your cost of that whole package, and then you're also giving the client a percentage off the retail value. We'll do and build one more package here. Maybe we'll do 6 4x6s, and then we'll go on over and do an album. And this is your a la carte value of the package, but my retail value is going to be $525. You can see you get quite a discount, almost 25%. You're still making a profit. Client, and so you can see here the total cost of the package. You can do this for all of your packages below. After you are completed with the package builder, here we will move on to the portrait pricing results worksheet, where you will put in your session fee and your minimum order amount. We're really focused on what you will be making at a minimum for every session. Even though you're probably going to be having more sales and higher orders for probably the majority of your sessions, you just want to focus on what you're going to make at a minimum per session, just so you can get a feel for if you're going to be making a profit and not having to rely on those extra orders throughout the year. So we'll put in a session fee of $150, print minimum order of $250. What percentage of sales are paid via credit card? Well, 75%. 3% is my average credit card processing fee. Next, we're on to desired number of sessions per week. You'll really see things fill in after we put in that number. The pie chart fills in to the side. See the expenses, cost of goods sold, credit card processing fees, your sales tax, federal and state taxes, and finally your total annual profit. You will have your sales tax percentage, federal tax percentage, and state tax percentage. Those are all customizable based on what your sales tax rate would be, or your federal tax, or your income tax rate would be. You can do electronic or physical delivery here, or you can do a session fee, include sales tax, no, yes. We'll leave it on there so you can see it on the pie chart there. Total per session minimum, sessions per year, 78, estimated cost of goods sold for the print minimum, and total annual gross of $27,000. You have the percentage of workload for portraits. Now this is showing 100% because we have not filled in anything for the wedding spreadsheets here. This will calculate out based on the number of weddings you will be doing and the number of versus the number of sessions you're doing. Sales tax cost per session, average credit card processing fee per session, expenses per month, expenses per session. For your total net income per session is $253. From that number you go and you grab your annual income. You have your federal and state income tax here, and your total net annual profit $11,000, and total net profit per session after all taxes and expenses $152. If you wanted a calculation of your net hourly rate, you can put in your average number of hours worked per week, and you get $22.82 for your total net hourly rate. You can play around with these numbers. You can see what happens if you want to decrease your minimum order amount, how that impacts your total net annual profit. You maybe want to do more sessions a week to increase your workload. You see how that changes everything here. So, and then, if you wanted to do no sales tax and maybe electronic delivery, that has a pretty big impact on your net annual profit. Now we are ready to move on to the wedding portion of this workbook, starting with the wedding product pricing worksheet. You will first go over here and fill in these 6 yellow cells. Your first one is charge per hour of wedding coverage. I'll say we'll put 300 in. And this is for the hour of shooting. This simply just the charge per hour that you will charge the client per hour of shooting a wedding, not including editing or meeting with the client, anything like that. Processing time per hour is same thing as their portraits, as we covered back in the product pricing for portraits. It's your processing time of editing and getting the print ready or the product ready to send to the customer. Average amount of images processed per hour. This includes your editing, culling, so however many images you can get through per hour. Images presented per hour of coverage. this is if you're at a 6-hour wedding, I'm going to provide 60 images per hour for those 6 hours. Credit card processing fee 3%, and the markup multiplier will do 3. Since this part is the same as your portrait product pricing worksheet, save in the interest of time, we are going to copy this over and put in 45 and 25. And then we'll put in an 8x8 album as well as let's say a 20x20 canvas. Okay, 8x8 album, we'll put in a 75, packaging costs 10, shipping costs 15, and we'll say that takes about 2 hours. $500 for my actual retail price, and 20x20 canvas, the base cost, we'll say put that at 60. Packaging cost is 15, the cost to ship to me is 15, and maybe that takes about 90 minutes. We'll put that in at $425. After you've completed filling in all of your wedding products, you can move on to the Wedding Package Builder worksheet. And you can see your 8x8 album and your 20x20 canvas is there. For the first package, we are just going to do 2 sets of 8 wallets and 6 4x6s, and maybe we'll add in a canvas. The difference here between this Wedding Package Builder and the Portrait Packages Builder is we are including hours of wedding coverage. For package 1, let's say 6 hours of wedding coverage is what's included with that package. I want to do a retail value of $2,400. You see 11% off, that's your net profit per package. Cost to ship is $10. So we'll do one more package, 2, 12, make this one, add a few things in. And an 8x8 album, and we'll say 8 hours of wedding coverage. See a $4,000 a la carte value of the package. Your retail package price maybe will be $3,500. 13% off, you still have a profit of $3,000. Cost to ship to the client is maybe $10, maybe a little bit more with the album and the canvas. We'll put 25, and that's your profit. We are ready to move on to the wedding pricing results worksheet. So we're going to put in what percentage of weddings are paid via credit card. 25%, and your average credit card processing fee is 3%. Desired number of weddings per month, let's do 2 weddings per month. See your annual gross income breakdown. The same as the portraits worksheet. You can see the expenses per wedding, cost of goods sold, credit card processing fees, sales tax, federal and state taxes, and your total annual profit. Your sales tax, federal tax, and state tax percentages there. Physical, electronic. Yes, no. Does your wedding package include sales tax? Your minimum wedding package price will pull automatically from here. It'll pull your absolute minimum wedding package price. Weddings per year, 24. This is your total annual gross. Percentage of workload for weddings. Now remember, if that was 100% over in the portrait pricing results, and now that's saying 61%. And that's saying 38%. You have your sales tax cost per wedding, your average credit card processing fee per wedding, your cost of goods sold for minimum wedding package, expenses per month, expenses per wedding. Again, giving you your total net income per wedding before income taxes of $1,500, helping you total out to your total annual income, your federal and state taxes for your total net annual profit, your total net profit per wedding. Average number of hours worked per week, let's say 20, and then that is your total net hourly rate. Just like on your portrait pricing results worksheet, you can change these numbers, work with these numbers to see how your changes in workload, or maybe your packages, maybe you want to do 7 hours of coverage and you wanted to do $2,800 here, and see what that does to your wedding pricing results and your total net annual profit and your net profit per wedding. It's finally time to move on to the results summary worksheet to see a breakdown between your portraits and weddings and your total business numbers. This shows you a breakdown per session per wedding before income taxes to your total net annual profit, and then your total profit per session and wedding after all taxes and expenses. And this is your grand total for both of your businesses. And with that, we are done with the portrait and wedding photography pricing workbook walkthrough. I want to thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.